Okay, here we go. My name is Gary. You're going to be watching the Denver Guitar Orchestra at work from my bedroom. We normally broadcast from either the back room or my studio. It's cold out there tonight, so I didn't want to go over there. And the back room is filled up with stuff because we're remodeling now. So here we are. It is what it is, right? You're not here to watch the video. You're here to play guitar. Let me go post this over on the website, and we'll get started. Tonight we are playing out of Book 1, both of the Frère Jacques, and then out of Book 2 we are playing A-Tisket, A-Tasket, everybody's favorite song, and then Ain't Gonna Rain No Mo. And then in Book 3 we got Vous, Dirai-Je, Maman, fancy word for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and then All Through the Night, which is actually a pretty good song. And then we have books, or our classical book will be the Carcassi number 2 that we started last week. Got a lot of work to do on that one yet, so we'll see how things go tonight. Alright, so I've posted there. Let me put it up here. Denver Guitar Orchestra. How do you spell orchestra? Orchestra.com. And then I click here, and I double click there, and then I hit that, and we wait. There's that, and then I should be able to close this one. Let's make sure the link is working properly, and then we'll get started. And clink, and patience. 352 guitar broadcasts. That's a lot. Hey Vic, sound is good. I am practicing melody around the 5th fret. Yay, nice. And Linda is in. Hey Linda, good to see you. And then we'll have several other people join us. Let's go ahead and grab Frère Jacques out of Book 1. And most of you guys are not Book 1, but you, it never hurts to revisit, right, the main important stuff that we talk about basically all the time, right? And I think, let's see, is this going to be in the way? Hold on, let me check and see. Hey Linda, welcome in. Good on the video and sound. Sunny afternoon. Wouldn't it be nice to still be afternoon? It feels like the middle of the night here. Let me close this down and close this down. I'm wearing my Reykjavik sweatshirt. We went there a couple of years. We went there before the whole world fell apart, and had a lovely time. All right. So, how do you tune your guitar? What's the phrase that pays? He waits. When I teach in-person classes, I ask that question all the time. Eddie, 8, Dynamite, Good, by Eddie, 8, Dynamite, Good, by Eddie. Yeah, that's EADGBE. That's something that should be in your memory bank when you become a famous guitarist and you start teaching other people, which maybe you're already doing. That's sort of my intro class is 4 weeks long. We do that same joke every single time we meet. What's the phrase that pays? And by the end of the 4th week, everybody has it memorized. And will for the rest of their lives, right? Second thing, I use one of these contraptions to help hold the guitar in place. You can use a foot pedal, whatever. The key is that with these contraptions, the guitar is magically at the correct posture, which is this 60-degree angle, and your hands are going to be right in here. Val, oh my gosh, come on, Gary. Vic logged in and says, "Hey, I've been practicing melody up around here," and that makes this is exactly what you want, right? My hand is dropping in around the 5th fret. You notice this is just a nice straight pitch here, so I'm not putting any sort of real effort in here. The only effort I'm going to be putting in is get my fingers sort of at this angle, right, to do that, making sure my thumb should never come up above the neck, and it's hanging around behind my middle finger, all that good stuff. Linda, you need book 1. Well, send me an email. I'll send it to you. Yeah, you deserve book 1 after all these months of us hanging out together. Yeah, just send me a note and I'll send you one. I'll send you the PDF. You can turn it into a book. All right. Last week we talked about how to tune it. We talked about how to hold it. We should also always mention that if your strings are more than 1 year old, they are too old. You need to change your strings every year, no matter what type of guitar, no matter how much you play. I go to school with a kid. He plays so much he has to change his strings every single week. So it does matter how much you play. But for most people, at least once a year, if you're practicing a little bit every day, probably every 6 months, you need to change your strings. Let's do an E chord first to start off tonight. E chord, 3rd string up, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's where your index finger goes. And then in the 2nd fret, middle finger goes up on the 5th string and the ring finger on the 4th string. Okay, that's what you're looking at. Okay, try not to have your fingers all smashed together. Try to have them with a little bit of air in between them. And then we would be talking about this is what we talked about as the best way to get started in strumming, which is to not strum. Okay, and then it doesn't matter which strings you're on, just pick any 4 strings. Thumb is going down. Okay, let me see if I can get it. Thumb is going down, index is coming up, middle is coming up, and ring is coming up. Okay, so they're all 4 there. Okay, I'm going to sing. You guys know I can't sing. Here we go. Well, the first note's Frère, 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 or Frère, 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 Frère. Let's use that one. Ready? Go. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous. This is too high. Sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong, ding. Obviously, singing aside, what we're really working on is holding the chord and then plucking this with a steady beat. 4 beats for every measure, right? The measures are the pieces on your paper with the vertical lines. And just keeping it steady and doing the same thing over and over and over, trying to make sure that you get a nice clean tone out. Okay? And again, it doesn't matter which strings you use. You could use the bottom string and the top string, and you'll get the same thing. It will matter when we get to the D chord which strings you hit, but until then it doesn't matter. So that's step number 1. That's playing with chords. Then what we do, which is much more important, is plucking the melody. Okay, and we talked about last week 0240 0240 457 457 797 540 797 540 000 000, and I hope I said to you, memorize them. Just memorize those notes. Just memorize them, because once you become a good guitar player, somebody's going to ask you to teach them, and it's nice just to be able to teach them, right, without the paperwork. Just teach them how to do that, and then go get the paperwork. But if you haven't memorized, then you don't have to be fussing with the paper while you're helping them get started. All the other songs you're going to need the paper with, but this one, just memorize that little phrase, and you'll be able to get somebody else started. I'm going to play with my thumb. You should too. Okay. I'm going to play a 0 and a 2 and a 4 and a 0. Again. 4, 5, 7. 797 540. First string, second string, first string. got you know how to play the song, reading the tablature, and you know where to put your fingers. If you can't keep up when you're playing with me, that's very normal. Just give yourself some more practice time. You will. Then let's use this finger. Use your index finger, and instead of plucking down, pluck up like this. Okay. Same song. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason we don't use picks in fingerstyle is you're going to end up using all 4 of these fingers for various activities, and that's why we don't use picks. Certain types of guitar playing you will use a pick. If you just are a singer and you just want to do chords all of the time, then most guitar players use a metal guitar, metal string guitar, and a pick. If you're playing electric guitar, you usually use a pick. And if you're playing bluegrass or those types of specialties genres, you use a pick. But in fingerstyle, we do like they do in classical music, which is these are our picks right here. I go to school with all these guys who grow their fingernails way out. I don't know how they run their lives, but that's what they do. All right, so hopefully Brother John is going well for you. Let's go move on to Frère Jacques in first position. Okay, so that's the next thing on our list to do tonight. Frère Jacques in first position. We learned this, and you heard me struggling to sing because the note goes pretty high. We learned it in the key of E, which is this chord. So let's learn our next chord, which is an A chord, and it's going to be a little lower pitched on the guitar, and we'll make it a little easier to sing theoretically. So we're going to put all of our fingers in the second fret here. Take your index finger and put it on the 4th string, okay, from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. Middle finger from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and from the bottom, ring finger 1, 2. So the strings are 4, 3, and 2. So let me get it this way is how it should look. Okay, you want to have your ring finger as close as you can to the metal fret bar there, without affecting the sound, and then as much as possible get everybody else tucked in there real pretty like that as well. Our Russian hacker is back in the chat room. It's always very exciting when they show up. Let me get rid of them real quick. Hide. All right. And then it takes a second, and then they just magically disappear. All right, next. That's your A chord. Now let's sing this. Okay, any strings you want. 1, 2, ready, play. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John. Morning bells are ringing. Morning bells are ringing, ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. Okay, so same exact procedure, just in a different chord. Sometimes it's easier to sing in different keys than others. For me, every key is hard, so that doesn't necessarily help. All right, now, next thing we're going to do is look at the guitar melody line. Now, almost everything in this guitar song can be played by holding your A chord. So don't let up on this, and then as we go through, you'll see a couple places we're going to have to raise a finger or move one finger around a little bit. So your first note's a 2 on the 3rd string. So that's 3rd string is on from the bottom, and you're going to hit a 2. You're already holding it down. Pluck that. Next one's a 0 on the 2nd string. So lift up your ring finger, and then just use your thumb, hit the 0 on the 2nd string. And then put your ring finger right back down and hit the 2 there. And then back to that 3rd string. Okay, same exact thing in measure 2. 2, O, 2, 2. Okay, now in this one, we're going to start on the 2nd string. 2, 3, and O. You need a 2. Probably slide your ring finger forward. And then a 0, it's already open on the 1st string, so notice I don't move this at all. Okay, now I have to though. 2, whoops, and then just slide it back forward, and then 0. Okay, now we'll put it back where it was. You got a 0 on the first string. Now you're going to take that ring finger, move it down, put it on the 2nd fret, take it back off, reach it forward to get the 3, bring it back to get the 2, and then you're already holding down the 2 on the 3rd string. And open on the 1st. Ring finger, open, ring finger on 3, pull it back to get the 2, and then 2 on the 3rd string, you're already holding it down, 2 on the 3rd string, 2 on the 4th string, 2 on the 3rd string, and repeat that. Okay, and then we repeat the song. The key here, your ring finger's kind of doing all the work here to get the melody out. These 2 fingers really, for the most part, stay planted. Okay, and that's going to come up in finger style, that you're going to need to plant your chord and move other fingers around, usually your ring or your pinky, to get the melody. Going to happen. That's what we do basically. Hold the chord and then use your as many fingers as necessary to get the melody to come out. All right, let's play through it one time. The other thing I was going to mention, I'm coaching that you put your ring finger forward, but you have an option there. You can use your pinky and put that on the 3rd fret, and that may be easier for some people. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, ready, play. 2, oh, 2, 2, 2, oh, 2, 2, 2. 2, 3, oh, oh, 2, oh, 3, 2, 2, oh, 2, oh, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, now I was using this hand, I was using it for all these, every note, whatever string it was on, I was using all of the ones on string number 1, I was using my ring finger, middle finger string 2, index finger for string 3, and thumb for string 4. That's just one way to do it. There's lots of options you have over here. You could have played the whole thing with your thumb. Let me show you that. Whoops. And when I was first learning guitar, I would try to not try all of the ways. I wanted to just try the one way that worked the best, but wasn't the right thing to do. Try all of the ways. Try using different fingers and different approaches on your right hand, because we're going to end up using them all, whether you like it or not. And so early on here, being adventurous with what you're doing with your right hand will be important. Sometimes you play with your thumb, sometimes you play with your claw, and so that way you can get both together. Now, we're about to move into next week when we pull up Farmer in the Dell. We're going to be doing actual fingerstyle stuff there, but I like to at this point show you what tough uke is going to look like. I don't want you to work on it this week. I think it's too hard when it's week 2 in guitar, but I do want to show you what that's going to look like. Okay, I'm going to play exactly what we've been playing here, except that where you see on the tough axe line, you'll see several notes stacked on top of each other. That's the chord, and so my thumb is going to come down. It's going to cover all of those notes as well. Okay, and so I'm just holding the A chord. Now you'll notice these 2 fingers will not move during the entire time. Okay, and let me show you what the tough uke is going to sound like. Ready, go. guitar just ring out for a little bit. Doesn't that sound nice? That way you're bringing the chord and the melody in together, and you can feel your guitar vibrating up against your chest, and it's just lovely. So next week we'll dive into that on Farmer in the Dell. Don't work on it yet. Just work on getting the melody out, because that's going to be the important part, the harder part of what we're doing. So this week, if you are still not doing that great on Brother John, spend some more time on that one. Make sure that melody is coming out of your guitar nice and smooth. And then come over here, Frère, Jacques, which is in first position. Make sure you know both chords, E chord and A chord. They're coming up every single day you play guitar, so you got to learn them now. And then make sure you can play the melody on this one. Same song, just in a different key. And so that's your homework for the week, is to really make sure that both of those are going smoothly for you. We will play Frère Jacques in A next week. And then Farmer in the Dell is also in the key of A, so the same exact thing you're learning on Frère Jacques in A will apply to Farmer in the Dell in A. The only difference is Farmer Dell is a tiny bit easier to play, and it's a great introduction to getting you started with tough axe, finger-style play, and then the following week, then we dig into a real legit tune, Row, Row, Row Your Boat, where we get to have a chord shape here, and then a chord shape way down here, and so it'll be fun to put all that together when we get there. So all Farmer in the Dell, all Frère Jacques and Brother John this week. Gary is in the house. Hey Gary, good to see you. Gary and I have the same name. If you have to pick which Gary is better, I'm the better one. He's trouble. All right. That's book one. Let's move on to book two. And of course, guys, if you're logged in and you have questions or whatever, there's no dumb. There are dumb questions, but not in guitar, right? So ask away. When Harry was asking the professor his question, the professor says, "Ask away, dear boy, ask away." All right. So tonight. A-Tisket and A-Tasket, let's just play through it real quick, and then let's take a look at Ain't Gonna Rain No Mo next. Now, I know A-Tisket, A-Tasket is a dumb song. You know it's a dumb song. We don't care about that. We're here to get the skill of switching from A chord to D7 and back. Okay, that's all we're working on here, and that is something you'll be doing in guitar. So if you just do what do I want to say? If you just do singing and strumming and folk music, E, A, and E7 come up a lot. And if you do fingerstyle, E7 comes up a little bit less, because something, I don't know why. It just doesn't. I notice I don't play it that often, but A for sure comes up every day. All right. Let's do one time through with the chords, and then we'll do one time through with the melody, and then we'll do one time through with tough axe. And so you get to hear me sing again. 1, 2, 3. A-Tisket, A-Tasket, a green and yellow basket. I wrote a letter to my love, and on the way I dropped it. Let's do it again. I goofed it up. Here we go. A-Tisket, A-Tasket, a green and yellow basket. I wrote a letter to my love, and on the way I dropped it. Okay. So I started off just doing the 4-finger pluck, and then I thought, it'll sound cooler if I do thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. And so that's something to practice for sure. That 1, 2, 3, 4, thumb, index, middle, ring. That's going to be a great way, especially if you like singing, to make your guitar playing sound more sophisticated. Just using that arpeggio. It's called an arpeggio pattern. You hold the chord and then pluck all the components of it. Thumb, index, middle, ring. And it always sounds nice. All right, let's play the melody. all 2s and 3s here, so probably, you could play your index finger in 2 and then your middle finger in 3, but since there's nothing else, I'm probably just going to play the 3s with my middle finger, and I'm sorry, the 2s with my middle finger and the 3s with my ring finger. Let's give it a try. Just use your thumb probably. 1, 2, 3. Good enough. You guys know how to do this at this point. When you're playing melody, one of the things you'll notice, whether it's here or whether you're in orchestra, it's the same activity, right? Just seeing how close to exact you can get your melody notes. On a song like this, if you've been around a while, you're looking for purity of tone and nice round beautiful sounds coming out of your instrument. If you're newer, you're just trying to keep up, and that's true when you get to orchestra, right? If you've been in orchestra a while, you're really able to create some really beautiful melody tones, and if you're newer, you're just trying to keep up. So yeah. All right, let's play the tough acts. I think you got a choice here. If you use the claw, you got to lose some strings, right? So the first chord there in tough acts is 0, 2, 2, 2, 0. 5 notes, but you only have 4 fingers. We don't use the pinky. So usually the one you drop out is the one next to the bass string. So in this case, there's a 0 on the A string, obviously, because it's an A chord. So then just don't play the 4th string and play the other strings. You have to play the melody. It's always going to be sitting up there on top. And then if you can play the bass note, that's going to end up sounding the best probably. Here we go, from the top. 1, 2, 3. Do it one more time. Second ending. Do this chord. Gives you a fancy A on the end there. Alright, so that's the 3 ways we play. The other way to play is that you get together with a friend, one of you plays melody and one of you plays chords, and so all these pieces of music are set up for playing duets, arpeggios, chords, plucking, strumming, melody, chord and melody, so lots of different ways you can play them. Alright, that's A-Tisket, A-Tasket. Whew, you survived it. Next up, Ain't Gonna Rain No More. Okay, now this is actually a funny song. I have the original version of this from 1923, and Wendell Hall wrote 50 verses to it, and about half of them are wildly racist and wildly sexist, and so I kind of cherry plucked the ones that are the cute ones, and the rest of the song, whatever. But the key with this song is you're going to be going from your D chord, which is from level 1. And remember, don't hit the top string when you're playing a D chord, because that's an E string, and it just doesn't sound good with it, right? And then you're instead of an A chord, which we've got in book 1, you're going to play an A7. Now, there's 2 ways to do it. Either pick your middle finger up. Okay, it gets a little more dramatic. Or you can use your index and your middle finger. Either one. So if you hear the difference, here's an A chord. Very lovely, very put together, very, very complete, feels like home. And then an A7 is going to have a little bit more tension to it. because A7 needs to the D to resolve. So you whenever you hit a seventh chord, you know you're going to be resolving to the dominant chord, and so it'll be like wah wah da dum. Okay, very standard musical theory thing that happens. I noticed my E string. I changed strings on this a couple weeks ago, and they're still fussy. There we go. Just the deep strings seem to fight me the most. Vix is down with Tough Axe. She is into it. Guys, once you figure out how to play Tough Axe, that's the way you want to play everything. I mean, really, the stuff on the website, and especially the stuff from level 4, it's just delightful, and it's amazing that with not a ton of training, you can actually sound really, really good. And you don't have to sing if you don't want to. All right, D chord. Put that on first. Let's run through. I know that my singing is grating, but let's make sure you know the song. Okay, so from the top, I'll count in 3. And that's our first note. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. It ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no more? Well, a peanut sat on a railroad track. Its heart was all a-flutter when along came a train roaring down the track. Toot toot peanut butter. Okay, so that's how it goes. The second half, you can replace the lyrics with the additional lyrics, and I picked out all of the ones out of his song that are about bugs, right? So there's no bugs on the wall. Actually, a few years back, there was a dog commercial. They were selling flea collars using these lyrics, and that's what made me think of the song, honestly. So I have all the bug lyrics there. Let's do the melody now. And again, usually just grab your D chord and then you're like, okay, how many notes do I have held down that are going to be the ones I need? Well, all of them, it turns out, except for one, right? The very first, the second note, you're going to have to pull your ring finger back. That's it. Otherwise, you're already holding down every note you need till the chord changes. So nice and slow. 1, let me count it this way. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So on. You'll notice sometimes the lyrics require to hit a string more than one time. That's why, take time to read through the lyrics because at measure 12, there's just a single 0 as your first note, and it's fine on the second verse. We had a goat down upon our farm. It ate up old tin cans. But if you notice above that, when we're talking about peanut butter, its heart was all a-flutter. You'll hit it twice, so the lyrics will change what's in the notation. You can write it out all. It just takes lots and lots of pages to do that, and so this is very common. You'll see that where they will just, you're supposed to know the lyrics, and so then you know to hit that note twice. Let's see. Luke Calder Guitar Rock Jam. There you go. Luke Calder is in advertising his Guitar Rock Jam. Way to go, Luke. Now let's play the Tough Uke. Okay, Tough Axe. Same thing on the beginning. Now I'm Now you have to have your D chord on, and then you can definitely play these with your thumb down, or you can play them with a pluck. I'm going to play them with a pluck because I think it's better. I don't think it's better. I think that it's more instructional. Okay, so let's get that D chord on at 1, and I will start from the top. Here we go. 1, 3, 3, chord, 3, chord, 3, 2, chord, 3, 3, 2, 3, A chord. Again, add your 3 with your pinky, take it off. Lots of times in fingerstyle, those 2 notes there in the middle of 8, 2, O, those are just decorative. They're just to fill up that space with some music, so that you're not sitting there waiting for the notes to just pass you by. Okay, so you'll see that a lot on the tough axe line. All right, pick up to measure 9. We'll do those 2 2s, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3. Whoops, where am I at? Sorry. And then you would repeat it twice, of course, or you'd repeat it 50 times, according to Wendell. And that's it. There you go. So this week, work on that. The big thing you're really trying to do is get smooth with your transition from D chord to A7 and back. And notice at measure 7, instead of an A7, it would be easier if you do an A chord. The same thing happens in measure 15. That's what I goofed up there. I was busy holding the wrong strings down. At measure 15, you have a regular A chord as well. And those are from book 1, so you're familiar with those. Chords and lyrics, guitar melody. Yep, there you go. And the week after, so this week get that together, and then the week after we do Alouette, and Alouette is the same chords, but a way better song. So we'll do that one the following week. So you got a lot of D's and A7s coming your way over the next couple weeks. All right, book 2, done. Let's go on to book 3. Okay, let's go book 3. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Here's the place where I can shut up and we can just play. Okay, you know the melody, and so pick your poison. If you're working on chords, which you should in this case, you got a G, a C, and a D7. Those are all pretty challenging chords, so it's okay to work on those. You should probably sing it through until you get it smooth. Guitar line, there's not a ton of melody here, so you probably find out that, and then dig into the tough acts. So I'd say let's play it 2 times through. When you get to next time won't you sing with me, beat, repeat. Okay, so let's just turn around and we'll just sing it, play it twice through. First time through, I think I'm going to pluck with my claw. Second time through, I think I'll strum. Okay, let's give it a try. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. fancy on the end there, right? What's wrong with that song? That's a pretty good song. It'll be a little Mozart for you. All right, let's move on. Let's take a quick peek at All Through the Night. That's correct, right? That's our next song. Sometimes I just get ahead of myself and I'm like, I think that's what we're doing. Yeah, All Through the Night. All right, so this is the song for the week, and there's something on my mind that's happening next. Do I have something next Wednesday? I think I might have something next Wednesday. Hold on, let me look. I have a Wednesday coming up. Where's it scoofed up? It's not next Wednesday. When is it? Oh, it's the 9th. They're going to have a how to make the pizza dough class, and I signed up for it. We don't have a kitchen at all right now, so it'll be interesting. But maybe I'll just make it right here in the bedroom. All right, All Through the Night. Let me give you the chord. Let's play through the chords first, okay? And again, I have to sing when we do that, but the key here is this is all of your chords from level 1 wrapped up beautifully into one song, okay? 1, 2, ready, play. Sleep, my child, in peace attend thee all through the night. For a guardian angel God will send thee all through the night. 2, 3, 4. Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping. Let that ring and go. In my loving vigil keeping all through the night. Isn't that pretty? So it's a very nice song. Just a little lullaby, and then again, the melody here is something that you want to play through. You want to pick that out, 3s and 2s. The only place it changes up at measure 9, where you get the bridge section or the B section. You go all the way 3, 2, 5 up to 7. Okay, when you go to 7, try not to chase your pinky around, right? That's one of the things that we do that's not smart. When the melody starts to go up the neck, we start chasing our pinky up there, and that's not what you want to do. In this case, you are at 3, 2, 3. Now, in order to get to 5, if 5 was the only thing that you had to get to, I'd say, yeah, maybe chase your pinky there. But you got to get up to the 7. So now's the time. Switch your index finger to 5, and then your ring fingers falls on 7. It will be much more accurate for you. So try that with me. Just the 3, measure 9. 1, 2, ready, play. And then change your position. That's it, right? So it seems like a minor detail, but it's not. When you end up with notes that are above 5, you really do want to switch position and reset your index finger wherever that's going to be, and then you can be over the top of those. You'll be much more accurate, and then when you're going to be accurate, you'll have better tone. So that's something to work on. Okay, melody's no big deal here, and then the tough axe is beautiful. I'm going to let you guys work on it on your own. It really is beautiful. I do have a couple of examples in here. If you look at measure 2, where I'm really specific about what you're supposed to do there. You're going to grab that full chord, but you got too many strings that you got to cover. So which ones should you use? Well, I tell you specifically there, right? That's what we want to try, okay? And so this particular song is definitely set up for a claw purpose. If you're still wanting to use your thumb with it, then you just fill it in, right? So in that case, it would be a full E chord there. But if you're plucking, you can't hit all those strings, low string and high string. This song gives you a chance to practice that, just to see it written out on paper. And when you go steal tablature off the internet, you'll see guys write like that all the time, and it's not particularly helpful, but that's what they do. So at least you have a chance to look at it here on this piece of music. You're going to love playing this Tough Axe. You really are. This is one of my very favorite songs ever. Sheryl Crow did a version of it a few years back. So it was the first song I ever memorized on ukulele too. So it's wonderful. All right. How are we doing on time? Oh, we got 10 minutes. Nice. So all through the night, that's your goal for the week. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you don't have to play again for a year. And then let's go look at that Carcassi. This is our tough one of the week. And you guys should know I'm working on this for school, right? So this is not like kind of a little bit harder than usual. This is hard stuff. And so this is one of these songs where I'm like, I'm going to get this darn thing no matter what. And it is not going to be easy. Let me go, where the heck did I put it? Guitar, classical. Did I put it in here? I don't know if I put it in here yet. Carcassi, I think it's under Carcassi, right? Carcassi 60, number 2. All right. Done. Okay. Last week we talked about it. We're going to have this song for a few weeks, so if tonight feels like a lot, it's because it is. And by the way, if you are not into classical music, this is a good time to sneak out, right? Just be like, yep, that's enough for me. See you later. But the thing with the classical music is noticeably harder, and the chords are noticeably less helpful generally. On this song, they're essential, but most of the time we'll have chords that are on there because they're helpful, sorta, but we spend a lot less time thinking about chords and a whole lot more time thinking about shapes that are going to get you the effect that the composer wants you to have. Carcassi, as I think I mentioned this last week, is he's a big deal in the classical guitar world. Like, you are not officially a classical guitarist until you played a whole lot of Carcassi, so just know you're on the right track. And it's okay if this is really hard. This song, it's all about this finger pattern, P-I-M-A-M-I-M-I. So it's thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index, middle, index. And once you get that pattern where your hands will do it every single time, the whole entire song, you're going to see the way it lays out on the tablature, even the standard notation is very clear. P-I-M-A-M-I-M-I. Okay, so let's walk through a few of them. We walked through a few of them last week. Let's just see how that's going. All you have to do is make sure your thumb is on the right string, and then all the others will always be on strings 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so start with your A minor. Let's do that first little section, and we'll do it real slow. Go. P-I-M-A-M-I-M-I. Okay, now, not unimportantly, you see that little rest there, that little 16th note rest. That's for the melody. That's not for the bass, which is your A string. So don't pause there. Don't pause there on every single measure. Your goal is to not have any pauses. It's to come straight through. Okay. But we're pausing because we want to talk about the next motion. So your first motion is an A minor. Now look at the chord on E7. It shows you a bar with this full D7 shape in front of it. You don't need to do that. Okay, just do the D7 shape, but put it up on 3. Okay, because now you've got this. What's cool about classical music is, that is the chord, but you don't need to do the whole chord. And so you're going to hit your A string again, and then the 4-3-4. Okay, did I do that right? Thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index, middle, index. Okay, So let's put that whole measure together. You probably had it together all week, but let's do it together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so see, there's no break, and I was busy fishing around for the chord, but that's your goal, is to have no breaks, and then of course you're not going to have any breaks in between measures either. But let's get this one measure as good as we can, and then we'll look at the next measure. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and... Get that smooth, it's 90% of the battle. Okay, measure 2, you see the whole bar there, but you also see you don't really need to do the whole bar. You just need to put a little mini bar up on 5. Okay, so just the top 3 strings all on 5, and then same exact pattern. Do that. I lose track. Now here the chord is somewhat helpful. You have a partial E chord on 7. Index finger. Donna's sitting right there and she's sneezing, and she's really trying not to be make any noise. It's really cute. So you're going to put the index finger on 7, and then these 2 fingers, your middle and ring finger, up on 9. Okay, just what the little chord chart says there. Same exact pattern. Do that. So let's put measure 2 together from the top. From measure 2, ready, play. Okay. Now, it looks really nasty, this next one, but it's not really as bad as it looks. You've got this shape on. You've got your E shape on, index and these 2 fingers here. You just have to slide this guy forward 1 and your ring finger forward 1. Now you have your D minor shape on, like this, and you've got your 9, your 10, and your 8. Okay, so middle finger doesn't go anywhere; it just hangs out. Okay, let's do that one. Go. And look at your chord chart. You're going to come back to 6 and with the D7 shape, index finger on 6, these on the 7s. And now, instead of the A string, you're going to use the D string as your 0. Do that. Ready? Play. Isn't that cool? You can hear something's up in the song. You can hear like, oh wait, something's going on here. Next measure, measure 4. You got 4, 5, 4. Put your D shape on 4, and then your thumb drops to the E string. Ready? Play. Okay, go grab a regular E chord down here at the bottom, and again you're going to use your thumb is on the D string, which is now an E note because of the way your chord is held. Do that. Craziest thing in the entire world, G diminished 7, just put the 2 1s on and then play that thumb on the D string. Isn't that a cool sound? Now I wrote put a C chord on here, but it's not a C chord, it's an A minor chord. I will publish a updated version of this. Put your A minor on, but your pinky goes up here where you would normally put your C on. Okay, so again, get everything up there. That kind of hurts. It's not that much fun. Okay, but that's the shape you need. And then play the A string, which is now a C note. Go. Okay, this one's kind of hard. Index finger on the 2 up here, and then put your D7 shape on. So you can do it. You can either do it with a full bar, okay, which I've been doing mostly myself, or you can just put your index finger 2nd fret, 5th string, and then you'll be fine. Okay, Let's play that. And then back to the zeros and the fives. This is sort of a D minor thing here, index and middle here. This is where classical music starts to go faster than fingerstyle can go to keep up, because this is sort of a D minor, but not really. But yeah, I just gave you the basic chord here. It's close enough. And then your thumb is on D. Do that. Tell again, because you're not, this finger's not down there, you don't get that classic D minor sound. It sounds a little bit like something's going on here. And then from there, put your E chord on and your pinky on the 3. Okay, just follow that chord shape. Thumb on the D string, go. And then finally back to that A minor on 5. That A note there is really hard to get. It's just inconvenient, to be honest. So maybe think about just sliding after your last 5. Something like that may be the best way to do that. And you could put a bar on there, but then you're going to have your pinky bar. That's a very inconvenient note, but it's there. Okay, let's go on to page 2. Now notice pages 2 and 3 are repeated. So when you play through all the way down through 9, from 9 all the way down through 24, and then you go back and do that section again. So it's a pretty long song. What you're seeing here doesn't change at all. The next chord is on the 2nd string, but the process is the same throughout this thing. And so what I'm hoping you'll do is just every day when you sit down to play guitar, pull this thing out, run through it. Okay, and I think what will happen is you want to play incredibly slow so that you can not have gaps and pauses between chord shapes. But once your hands get where they're like, oh, here, then here, then here, then here, then you'll start speeding it up. But as with all of our music, start with playing incredibly slow. Okay, we got a few more minutes left and my battery's about to die on the computer, so we'll play for another minute or two and see how far we get into here. But you can see, generally speaking, in the chord shape, I told you what shape to put your fingers in, and as we get to the bottom, I don't even know what those chords are at some point. I'm just like, well, I'll give them a name, but I'm not entirely sure what they are, right? I got them. You kind of guess based on what's in them, and this happens all the time in classical music where the chord is so weird it doesn't have a name. Okay, so C chord on measure 9. Ready? Play. G chord. This weird C7. And again. And you got your A chord with a bar on the 2. And then go to the 3. Again, with your thumb on the 4th string, D minor, G diminished, lift up your ring, or your middle finger, and then this C chord. It's an A minor, guys, sorry. So that's like another one of those A minors with your pinky on the 3. All right, it goes on, same exact repeat. I don't need to go through every single one. When we get together next week, theoretically, we'll play it incredibly slow, but all the way through. We may not do the repeat. So this week, those of you working on classical, put your time in on this. I probably gave you an advertisement for Carcassi last week, but Carcassi, there's four main guitarists from the class. They're really not classical eras, but they thought of as classical players. Carcassi, Carulli, Soar, and Giuliani. Those are the four, and they all have their own little instruction books out. In order to be a classical guitar player, you have to be fairly familiar with all four of them, and I'm going to be pushing pretty hard on Carcassi this year. So this is pretty much everybody says you shouldn't start with Carcassi number 1. You should start with Carcassi number 2, and then we'll be working on Carcassi number 4 after this. I don't know if we'll do all 25 here, but we will for sure get the skill set up so we do a ton of it, and hopefully that will make for those of you guys that are into it, that'll give you a good foundation for the rest of the other classical stuff. Plus, of course, we got 9 books of the Royal Conservatory stuff to do, and so I'll just keep throwing stuff at you until you decide that bagpipes is the way to go. Good to see you all. Thank you all for being here. Let's see, Gary, I don't know if you're still here. Linda, Vic says it's fun to know that it's fun to know the right hand fingering. Yeah. In most of the sort of, it's weird to call it beginner classical music because there's no such thing as really hard stuff, even the easy stuff. They really spend a lot of time working on these, and so all that work you've done on arpeggios in books 1, 2, and 3, that's not going to be wasted. That's going to be really valuable because we'll be doing da 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 da, and being and every song has good fingering and not so good fingering, and I'm pretty much the king of the not so good fingering, so I am working to try to obey what they say and learn all of that. So yeah, plenty to work on there. Nancy, thanks. You're welcome, Nancy. So glad to see you again. Linda, this makes a lot of sense. Good. Yes. That's what we want to hear. Gary is still there. Honestly, thanks, guys. All right, beautiful, you guys. A few more weeks, and then we'll be not in broadcasting from the bedroom anymore. But we got right now no kitchen. We do have the flooring back in. That's something, and and 2 of our bathrooms are not operational, and we're sort of living in this bedroom basically. So either you'll see me next week, or my wife will have murdered me by then. If I don't show up, send the cops. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful week, and Linda says, this is beyond me now, but I like to listen. Yeah, Linda, melody, right? You've been working on that melody a lot, and it's that leads to the next thing, right? And the next thing, and the next thing, and pretty soon you're doing this stuff. So, but don't feel like you have to do, if you're working out a book 1 or book 2, know your lane, right? And just work on the stuff that brings you joy. So, all right, guys, peace. So weird. I started running out of